Good morning, gang. All right. Friday, you know what that means. So, all you guys who've studied up on the Constitutional Convention, okay, and constitutionalists as a whole, know what the three-fifths compromise was. All right. This goes back to how population was determined in the early days of the country for representation in the House of Representatives. And the founders all decided that each slave would count as three-fifths of a person. Okay. Now, of course, that's since changed, or so we thought. Okay. Interesting information that came out yesterday from the U.S. Census Bureau. Now, mind you, remember, we did a census in 2020. We do one every 10 years, figure out what the population of each state is, and it determines little things like how many representatives each state gets in the House of Representatives, how many electoral votes each state gets. It's kind of important, okay? And so, that's why it's technically a crime to not fill out your census form. It drives me nuts when people say, I don't want to be counted. Then you don't want any sort of representation. Well, if you want to know what's going on, the Census Bureau came out yesterday and said that they have in their 2020 count had significant population miscounts in 14 states. Yeah, okay. In states such as, let's go this way: Hawaii. What were some of the other ones? Delaware and Rhode Island. Notice what color all those states are. They had significant overcounts. Okay, Hawaii was overcounted by 6.8%. All right. Other ones that were overcounted: Minnesota and New York. Minnesota 3.8%, New York 3.4%. There was only one red state that was overcounted, and that was Utah, and it was overcounted by 2.6%. The undercounted states were all red. Arkansas being the biggest one, where it was a 5% undercount. Okay. Now I'm going to give you this. This is how much they figured they undercounted. They missed about 325,000 people in Tennessee. They missed about 550,000 in Texas. Okay. The census gave New York credit for 670,000 people that don't exist. Minnesota got 215,000 people that don't exist. Here's a good one for you. Delaware, remember I told you Hawaii was the number one overcounted state? Delaware was the second overcounted state by 5.5%, 50,000 extra people. You want to know how bad this is? I'm sorry. You had two states that actually got an extra representative that they shouldn't have, okay? Uh, Minnesota and Rhode Island actually got, it kept them from losing a seat. Oh, you want to know the states that should have picked up another seat? Get this one: Texas and Florida. Something stinks in Denmark, guys. Now, granted, this was the 2020 census. Okay, you can't blame Potato Joe for this one uh, because he wasn't president yet. All right, I mean, the election was in 2020. He didn't come into office till 2021. But this is pretty bad when literally the most important job that a government office has to do is to count the people. And you have to do it once every 10 years. Okay. You got plenty of time to get ready, get all your ducks in a row do it the next time, because sure, things change, technologies or people move or whatever it would be, hiring people, whatever. Mind you, the census was primarily done before COVID. Okay, just giving you that. Tell me this isn't politicized somehow, some way. You know, the Democrat Party didn't become crooked just once Joe got in. I mean, the Democrat Party's been, crooked as a pretzel since time began. I mean, there's no doubt about that. But talk about a way to manipulate gatherings in November. Talk about a way to manipulate a government. You know, Minnesota and Rhode Island getting extra representation, solid blue states. Texas and Florida, Democrats have now written off Florida, guys. In case you didn't know, they now consider Florida a solid red state. They're not even going to try to contend it anymore. And Texas was always a joke in the first place. Solid red states, right? There are two representatives. I mean, this is a four-person swing, guys. You go, I mean, and mind you how tight the House is right now, okay? If you take two away from the Democrats and give two to the Republicans, that's a four-person swing. That literally puts the House in a deadlock, except it's not. Now, the interesting part is this is probably too late to redraw congressional districts for 2022. I mean, this just came out yesterday. And we know all the fights that have been going on for gerrymandering and everything like that, and drawing new districts after the census, et cetera, et cetera. Okay. We also know we're already past primary season in some states. I mean, what was it? Pennsylvania's already had theirs. Ohio's already had theirs. I think Indiana's already had theirs. There's a few of them that have already had their primaries. You know, if they did this right, they would tell Minnesota and Rhode Island, sorry, we effed up. We're redoing this. Texas and Florida, here you go. You have, if you can't get an electorate, you have the right, the governor has the right to appoint somebody to the House until we can get a new one for the next election or whatever it would be. Are they going to have this fixed by 2024? Let's see what happens. It's 269 to win, right? Now all of a sudden, what is it? The Democrats only need 267 and the Republicans need 271. This is a lot bigger than they're making it out to be. And if you notice, this didn't make the U.S. media, okay? Not ABC, CBS, NBC, CNN, PBS, any of the liberal stations. Guess what? I didn't see it on Fox. I didn't see it on OANN. I didn't see it on Breitbart. I didn't see it anywhere like this. Guess where I found this? Yeah, international press again. Guys, this is why it's important to look all over the place, because stuff like this isn't being told to us. And this is exactly what our government is doing to us. They're screwing us because of their incompetence. Counting. Okay. Yes, I understand the math is racist part and 1 + 1 is 3 in the new math. But come on, let's go. We got to get this fixed. After all, the 3/5 compromise was put away a long time ago. Pinball out.